Scandinavian Cultural Society is putting on this show, as it has for the last 7 years, gathering heritage photographs from our community, and each Scandinavian country has done a portion of the show that relates to them. So this is the history of immigrants in our families. This is the second oldest Swedish Lutheran church in Canada, and here are my grandparents' marriage certificate. This is where they were married, in Saskatchewan. Over here you can see me standing here in my high felt boots, which I wore all winter. We didn't have overshoes. This is the first building that my family ancestors lived in when they came to North America. It's in South Dakota, and it's a tar paper shack. So here is the cabin he lived in Saskatchewan. It's a regular lumber house. But soon he could have the neighbors come and help him, and they built this beautiful house for him out of actual lumber. Then he had a wife and some children, and he needed to be near the school. So he picked up the house with the neighbors' help, 3 wagons, huge wagons, and many teams of horses, and they lifted the house up, set it down on poles, and took it 3 miles, where they set it down on the new foundation. Grandpa built a veranda for grandmother and added a new kitchen wing, and there we have the new house. Grandma can be very proud of her house, and she was able to have church picnics and not be embarrassed in the house. So here's my grandfather, my father. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 horses on his plow. He had to learn to drive that team from an early age. And those horses had to be hitched just so, or they would fight with the horse next door, and it would all go badly for the plowing. Over here you can see my grandmother in the back seat of our car, or the family car at the time, but that is not my grandfather driving, because he had a wagon in Norway that turned to the left when you twisted the wheel to the right, and when he practiced in the pasture with his new car, he drove straight into the dugout. He swore he would never set foot in that car again as the driver, and sure enough, my father and his brothers were forced to do all the driving from then on. Henry Larson, as a young man, was very interested in the far north. He came to Canada, he was interested in sailing and ships. He focused his whole learning life on being able to sail in the Arctic. And when he heard that there was going to be some exploration going on up there, he volunteered to be the ship's captain. He joined the RCMP, and he was the captain of the first ship to go both ways across the Northwest Passage in Canada. He had a number of very exciting and dangerous experiences, and we have a whole set of photographs. Here he is cooking up food for the dogs. Here he is hunting for wolverine, because you needed that kind of fur around the hood of your jacket because ice didn't stick to it. He had to fish to find food for the crew, and here are some of the folks. Here he is recutting the sails on the St. Rock, the ship that made that passage, and here he is hunting seals. He had an exciting life, and this is the kind of thing that we want to bring out at our show. His 2 children, Doreen and Gordon Larson, have contributed this segment of the show, and all the other pictures are contributed by various members of our community. We are trying to make a little history here for ourselves, history about us, about Scandinavians in BC, about the contributions we made, about the hardships we faced while we were trying to build the province. That's what we've done.